It's Thursday, and that means it is time for the weekly wrap up. I know it's been quite a few weeks since I've been here with you to do the wrap up. I know Judson and Olivia did a great job. So wanted to come back online with all of you and provide some recent updates. First, I want to send out a heartfelt thank you for everybody who's given their condolences on Ty. He was a hard one to say goodbye to, especially because he had such chronic health issues for so many years, and he was such a tough little jungle cat chassis mix that was so tough when he first came. He needed, I was telling people the story of that when Ty first came to us when he was 3 years old. We had to treat him like a bobcat. We had to do a food lockout where he shifted out because he would go after people hoping there was food, and he was just so assertive, and he would try and escape out of every lockout we put him in. And so he was always caretaker only for many years. And as he aged, he slowed down and still was always loved food. It was the way we knew when Ty was still doing well, as food was his biggest motivator. That he started being calmer to people, and then he started being just a sweetheart, as I like to say, the Chipino of the small cat world. And he had so many wonderful Bengal friends, and he definitely loved the little Bengals, the little females that made the most noise. So Luna, we called her Luna Tunes, screamed bloody murder. He loved her, and then Gabby was pretty loud too. Lady's not so much, the Savannah that he loved before he passed away, but I think Lady probably came to him versus him going to her. But we did see him decline, and I've been talking about him on my weekly wrap-ups as it was getting to the part he really couldn't lift his back end much. He was on as much pain meds and Solensia injection as possible. He had chronic upper rest for years and survived pneumonia on several occasions, emergency pneumonia to acute pneumonia 1 year. And so we were watching him closely before winter, but we didn't want to say just because it's winter, it's his time. But when he started being really picky with food, we knew that something was really wrong this time. And they gave him everything he wanted, but he still wasn't eating enough to sustain. When we immobilized him, the staff didn't want anything to be stressful. So they went out to his bungalow with Dr. Campbell, and they treated it just like they do his Solensia injection, where he got a treat and everything, and he was immobilized, brought to the hospital, and the entire staff came surrounding this little man. But he's not a cat we could ever touch. We could get the injection in, but he didn't want to be held. He didn't want to be pet. And so his body condition was really hard to see, especially because he had such a wonderful coat, beautiful coat from the diet he was on and all the nutrition. But when we sedated him, we saw that he was, in renal failure or had cancer. His body condition is really poor. We chose at that time not to do blood work. A lot of times we do end-of-life blood work, but he has been on the quality of life watch for 6 years. Even Dr. Campbell, who's only been here a year, said he was the first cat I was told that his time is really near. And he still lived another whole year. So we're very thankful for that, and we'll be watching the other cats very closely. But it is going to leave a hole like they all do, and especially he was our last of the jungle cat species here at the sanctuary. Over the years, we've had, I have to go through it, see, I don't know the numbers as much as I know the names. Our first cat we got in was a chassis, which was a 50% jungle cat, 50% domestic cat, and her name was Sasha. And she came in with horrible lesions in her mouth and ended up having to be put down within a year due to just the pain she was in. Then we got Cashmere, who lived a long life with us, and she was a chassis too. She was a Maine Coon crossed with a jungle cat. Then we also got Ty, and Ty was a full jungle cat. He was not a chassis. And he was, reminded me a lot, not Ty, excuse me, Milo. Milo, I was trying to remember the names. So we had Sasha, Cashmere, Milo, and Milo lived a long life. He was surrendered with an F1 Bengal named Topaz. And he got the same spondylosis and things as Ty did. And then we got Abby, one of a very assertive little girl, Jungle Cat. And then we got Ty. So we've had quite a few. We don't see them in the pet market much anymore, which we're very, very thrilled about. But it will be different not to have a Chaucy or Jungle Cat at the property. So thank you guys for that. I also want to say thank you for so many of you attending the Carol Noon Award. I was so just honored to be recognized by colleagues in the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries. Everybody that was recognized at the Carol Noon Awards is doing great work. And everybody that wasn't recognized this year is doing great work. So I'm amongst good company, and it definitely is the staff, the interns, the volunteers, the board, and all of you. It feels weird getting an award for me when it's really not me. It's everybody that allows me to do this work. So thank you guys for being so much a part of that. The one common theme I did see through the whole presentation by the award recipients at sanctuaries was how hard sanctuary work is. And it's something that, you know, I've seen so many people come and go out of this industry because it's too hard. I've seen people break down. I've seen people we can't console. I've been one of those that is inconsolable at times. And it's not always about the animals. A lot of it, it's just you're being pulled in so many different directions. You never get downtime. You're on call all the time. And so I'm actually writing an article about that for the next Uproar, because I just think it's good that people know just how hard this work is and how meaningful it is that you guys support us emotionally, not just financially. So that really means the world to us. And, you know, we're coming up on Give to the Max Day next week. So we're going to be launching November 7th through the 16th is our Give to the Max campaign. It's our biggest campaign of the year. There's some early giving on the GiveMin site right now, but definitely stay tuned to our newsletters. We'll tell you when we're launching a whole campaign. And then you'll want to tune in on November 16th. We've got some really great live posts, but also kind of something special to celebrate and some more incentives this year. And on top of that, we're really thankful that we just received the 4-star Charity Navigator for Transparency, their Platinum Transparency Award, which is the highest you can get as a nonprofit. And then GuideStar, also known as Candid, gave us a 4-star award too. So we're very, very proud of that, because that is something we work toward, to be transparent and to use donors' dollars in the best possible way. So that's great, and another reason to give during Give to the Max. Also, you've noticed that Facebook donations will be changing and have been changing. Instead of going through Facebook and Facebook donating the fees, they have partnered with PayPal Giving Fund. So it'll probably look pretty similar on your end when you donate through Facebook, but it'll give you the option to pay the fees, because now Facebook is no longer doing those free. So if you give $25, we'd get a little less without the fee, but if you can pay the fee, which it tells you on top of it, that is a huge help. Then 100% of your gift through Facebook comes to the cats. And then also you'll be getting your receipts through from PayPal Giving Fund, not from Facebook. So that'll be a little different that way. And then we don't get the same type of reporting. So again, if you're giving via Facebook and we don't know about you, always Facebook message us or email us at info@wildcatsanctuary.org and give us your name, address, phone number, etc. We'd love to make sure we know that you're giving and a supporter and get you on the mailing list for Uproar if you give $25 annually or more. So that's always good stuff. Now on to the cat updates, which is why everybody tunes in. So Scarlett had her surgery for plating her back leg, and she is doing extremely well. We're expecting a full recovery. She has 6 weeks in her little 6x6 crate, which is in the room with little Diva and Zambuca. And so she's been doing great. Right on the first day with the plate, and she was bearing weight. So we're really, really happy to see that. Also, the orthopedic surgeon that worked on her would love to do a case study with cervicals and metabolic bone disease. So we've sent over her backstory and all of her vet records and things like that. And the more exposure we can get for why cervicals should not be pets is a great thing. So the more we can share this metabolic bone disease issue that's completely preventable is great to share. Also, I have been busy on Lucy and Violetta. Don't know if you remember those names. We have not forgotten about our beautiful, wonderful 17 and 19-year-old tigers that need rescue out of Argentina. It is a long, long process. I followed up with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife because we applied for that permit in February, and I was not getting any responses at all. So I sent to a different email, and I got a response within a day. So I don't know if the last person we work with isn't there anymore and nobody was looking at the portal for our application, but we're thankful the application is pending. They do need additional information, so we sent them all the information on the sanctuary. What they've requested is they just need the specific information on where the Lucietta and Violetta would live here at the sanctuary, caging enclosure specs, what the gauge wire is, what photos of it, diagrams of the buildings, all that kind of stuff, which I'm thankful that they asked those questions. The other glitch is because Lucy was given to the Mendoza Zoo from another zoo about 16 or 17 years ago, they said that they need paperwork from that transfer. Since Argentina, as you know, has been closing their zoos to kind of adopt a more humane and friendly way of exhibiting just native wildlife. That zoo closed in 2017 or 2018, so there's no way to get that paperwork. We have the paperwork of the transfer, and you have to remember, this is 17 or 19 years ago. I can't remember exactly which on this case. That the paperwork changed hands, and you're talking about Argentina, you're talking about very small city and private zoos. So we've been going back and forth on that, and of course this is all in Spanish, so once we got affidavit signed, we needed to have them translated, but today it looks like they will accept an affidavit that's notarized by the receiving sanctuary, or receiving zoo, Mendoza Zoo. And then we hopefully can start the permitting process, which still needs a public hearing and things like that. So this is still a long progress. We also got more updated blood work. We do know that one of the cats has chronic kidney disease, and Dr. Campbell's looking at those values to determine when this happens, probably in early 2024. Is there going to be an issue with her health, moving her and things like that? So what seems simple is not simple. It is so much back and forth. You guys learned that with the Ukraine Pride, and that was during war. That wasn't even adding older cats that have been in a zoo system for a long time. And so we're still working on that, and I will keep you posted. And, we're even considering maybe going over to visit. We can't speed up the process by going over, but we feel very vested in these two tigresses now. So I'll keep everybody posted on that. Also, there's been a lot of Asian leopard cat play dates. Elise and the staff have been very, very busy. We needed some temporary housing before spring for these guys, before we can build their really big outdoor area. So Asian leopard cat Sam and Ziva, who are the older ones, moved out to a bungalow with a yard. Of course, they're choosing to stay in the bungalow versus the yard, but it doesn't surprise me since they had only lived indoors. They're together. They're doing fine. All these females like their space. The males do seem to be all over being in everybody else's space. So Ziva's a little hissy at Sam for always wanting to come near. We tried Sam, Ziva, and Eve, and Sam wanted to go right in Eve's crate with her, and Eve didn't like that. She just didn't want her space kind of compromised. So right now we're looking at maybe doing Eve and Mindy play date. Mindy's the amputee, because both Eve and Mindy want to be in their own space. So Sam and Ziva are 100% merged. We also had a really, really good play date the last 2 days with Aiden. Aiden's the little kitten that has the cataract. He's very, very calm. And then Apollo. He is calm, but then he also lashes out at humans, but then he loves other cats. He's a very mix of every Asian leopard cat. So Apollo ran right over to Aiden and is all over his space, in the cube, and Aiden's tolerating it, but obviously isn't reciprocating. And then I had to turn off the nanny cam to do this live post. And Apollo was excessively grooming Aiden on the head, and he was allowing it. So that's really good news. Then Rue, who's our little wild child boy, will go over there next. Now, usually Asian leopard cat males cannot live together. These remember, are all kittens, and they're already neutered. So anybody that we merge now, we still will be cautiously optimistic and keep observations as they grow through sexual maturity. So even though they're neutered and they won't have all those hormones, we still want to make sure there isn't territorial aggression once they grow up. And then Minerva will be next, and we might have 4 groups, 2 groups. This is really up to the cats. And then Penelope and Mindy are really kind of the really shy cats too. So we're looking at maybe a group of shy girls. So we'll keep you posted on that, but a lot's going on. And I know that they love the new space. So what we ended up doing for temporary is we have bungalow 1 open, and that's a big 12 by 12 bungalow where we've divided it into 3 sections inside, and then they have the outdoor yards that's fully covered. And that's kind of where the adults are. Then I took our old heated dog room that I had at the house here, which is our volunteer center. And that was a big room that when I was at work, my dogs could go in and out of the yard and be in a heated room. And we've divided that into 2 sections with double door entries, and then out the doggy door and out the window, 2 catios. And so that's where all the kittens are being merged. And it's really all just temporary space. It's not where we want them permanently, but we really needed to get them somewhere that they had good indoor space this winter. And then also, since we're re-looking at the new hybrid Haven area, and we'll have more about that early next year, we didn't want to do anything that we'd end up having to tear down. So all of that, plus Sushi, the fishing cat, and everything, we are in the plans right now of where permanent housing will be come spring, summer. So we'll probably need your help with that, because we didn't think we'd have to be building new enclosures. We didn't realize how many rescues would come in this year. We usually rescue when we have natural attrition and cats pass away. But the need was greater than we could imagine this year, and so we stepped up. So we are very much at capacity. We definitely will rescue if we have to save a life, but we will be partnering and networking with other sanctuaries as well, because we still say no cat left behind, but that doesn't mean we can always bring them here to TWS. But we have more news coming up on kind of another situation in the near future as well. Also, we're looking at swapping Bobcat Essie with Claude, Bobcat's Claude and Benson. Essie kind of lives in a habitat that's in the woods and has a bungalow, heated bungalow, all her own. Essie has always been an over-groomer, and that continues to increase. And we have tried everything medical we know. We believe it's behavioral. We've tried enrichment. We've tried operant conditioning. We've tried even behavioral medications, natural remedies. She still's an over-groomer. So the next thing we're thinking is if she is near other bobcats, though she's not great living with them, she likes to test them, but if she's near them, maybe she'll have more stimulation. And so the caretaker spent a lot of time customizing her old bungalow with the right platforms and steps for Claude, who's our 3-legged older guy, and Benson will move. So we're looking at those swaps. Today they swapped Serval Rio with Chili and his family. They're just switching them in an enclosure because there's a bigger indoor room for the family, and Rio doesn't need the big room anymore. So that's an easier one. Caracal Amira is going to be spayed at the end of the month. We'll try and do a live post then. And then today, Emery, our office cat, always sits at the caretaker stairwell door and always wants to go out. So I chose to carry her up to the staff meeting, up the stairs. She did good, into the staff meeting room. And she was, I mean, nervous like a cat is in a new space, but not overly nervous. But Love was very assertive. We were more worried about Emery, but so she got to do a little field trip, but I think now she won't be standing at the door waiting to get out anymore now that she knows what's in the outside world. And then as I talk about, you know, saying goodbye to Ty, we have other older cats. And I hate to list them because as soon as I list them, there's somebody out of left field. You know, we have still so many cats over 18, but the ones on critical watch list are still Lavani the cheetah, baby Jenga, Bosco the serval. You know, both Shadow and Shazam are doing great for their age, but they're over 20 years old and 22, so that can change on a moment's notice. You know, in the winter months, we get dehydrated, cats get dehydrated. We give them so many water options, so many things to do, but it doesn't take much for kidneys to turn. So these are the times of year we're really, really sensitive. The cold also, even though they have heated rooms, just like people, seasonal changes are hard. So it's the one time of year that I think is the hardest on the staff because we see more losses. So do sanctuaries that don't even have cold climates. We have snow. Their manual labor is just unbelievable, the shoveling. And then last year with that ice storm, that caretakers and volunteers were out there for 20 days just doing just the hardest labor trying to get ice and save enclosures and rebuild. And so when people commit their lives to sanctuaries, animals, animal rescue, I'm forever grateful. But I do understand that it takes a toll. And I do understand that not everybody's gonna be here for 60 years, 40 years, 10 years, 5 years. And when people do choose to leave the industry or to move on to something that's not as hard as sanctuary work, a different kind of rescue or anything, I just support them 100%. Over the years, we've seen people come and go for different reasons. Some they want to have families, some that this is an educational opportunity and they want to go be biologists, they want to go be veterinarians, and things like that. And so we definitely have wonderful staff here. And we are going to say goodbye to one. As you guys know, Teresa has been our wellness manager for a long time, and she's chosen to take a step back from the industry. And I don't blame her. She has got a heart of gold, and she gives everything and even more for the animals. And she's been doing that for decades, and that can be really tough on the soul, really tough on having a family life, really tough on all that. And so she is not going to be with us physically, but she'll always be with us in spirit, and I wish her really, really well. So her last day is this week, and it's, like I said, sad to see any staff member go, and especially people that have committed to so many animal organizations, just not ours. But I support everybody's decision. Humans deserve to be happy. And when you give too much of yourself, it's hard to do. And so I just am grateful for her. I'm grateful for the rest of the staff. I'm grateful for everybody that's ever been an employee or intern or volunteer at the Wildcat Sanctuary, because it's hard what we do on the day-to-day basis. It's rewarding, but I see the toll it takes on so many people. And those are, I think, the people that deserve the most happiness and blissful in the world. And so we send our love to everybody, including Teresa, that has been here and moving on to their wonderful life. And of course, they're always welcome to visit, always welcome to help. And we love hearing to where they move on. So just send your well wishes to them and others that have worked at TWS. We've got some good people out there in the world that we were blessed to know for a period of time, and our cats were more than blessed to know for a period of time. So thank you guys again for being here with me, with the staff. We're hoping for a mild winter. We all deserve a mild winter. I think TWS is a magical place, but it's also a hard place. You know, the 4 seasons are beautiful, but comes with it almost like running 4 sanctuaries. You know, we have tornado season, the winter season. We are in rural Minnesota, and people are like, I would love it. You love it till you are in rural Minnesota, and it is hard when to connect with people. I mean, I'm so grateful that I met my husband before. I, now live away from the sanctuary, commute. I'm able to have that, but a lot of our staff live close by. They're doing overnights here at the sanctuary. It's an hour to Duluth, an hour and a half to the cities on your night off. So it can be pretty isolating. And so when you guys give your support and your kudos and pat all the caretakers on the back, that's wonderful. And so during Give to the Max Day, we want to feature those that give to the max. And our theme this year is going to be We Give to the Max Because You Do. And we really want to highlight some of the key people behind the scenes that really do amazing job of keeping the mission alive and keeping you guys informed and keeping the sanctuary running to what it is today. So I appreciate being able to get to do an update with you guys. Hopefully next week and the following week, it's going to be pretty fun. So stay tuned for Give to the Max. And as always, if you want sponsor updates on your cats, please email your sponsor coordinator and they'll be happy to give you some updates. So have a great rest of your week. And again, thank you for loving Ty. Also came to us as Tiberius as much as we did. We're just thankful we got to give him a long, wonderful life here at the Wildcat Sanctuary.